A career in real estate requires a person to be a people's person, requires the person to be good at communicating and to be good at addressing all the inquiries and concerns of home buyers. Today we have a special guest speaker, Sarah, who is a realtor as well as a franchise development manager at One Source Moving Solutions. Sarah, please introduce yourself.
Hi, so my name's Sarah Carrier. You're right. I do real estate for Volente Real Estate and Development, and I'm also franchise director, franchise development for One Source Moving Solutions.
Amazing. So let's go over your education background at first. So what inspired you to pursue a degree in business?
Um, Very interesting question. So I think in high school, I had the same question and concerns that every other high school student had. What route do I go through? What would be the best education for me? I don't really think I knew exactly what I wanted to do um, uh, when I was, I guess, entering into the post-secondary education area. I didn't know. At first, I wanted to go into paramedicine. So I had a bunch of different educational backgrounds that I wanted to pursue. But I think the most universal one that best suit my needs would have been business. So I pursued a business degree at the University of Windsor. Once I was, done my first year, then I had the opportunity to specialize in something. There were a bunch of different factors, or I guess education points that I could have specialized in. So marketing, entrepreneurship, accounting, etc. The one that I pursued was supply chain and data analytics. The reason being, I noticed that there was a demand for females in that field specifically. So that is I guess, route that I pursued was a business degree in data analytics and supply chain. Halfway through my university degree, I noticed that there was, my father actually has his real estate license, and he was telling me, this is a great opportunity. It's not too much work, but it ended up being quite a bit of work. So halfway through, I ended up starting my real estate degree as well at Ontario Real Estate Association College. So yeah, I ended up graduating in 2020 with my business degree, and then I got my real estate license in 2021.
Amazing. I remember actually coming across your name in my second year in university, especially because I was from Faculty of Science. So I was exploring different clubs at Odette Faculty of Business. So I
Mhm.
came across your name as the president of Odette debate team. And yeah, I was like inquiring more about what the team does. So do you want to share some information about Odette debate team, your experience with them?
Yeah, for sure. So we had the privilege of getting a sponsorship from the Richard Petty Leadership Association. So what that was Richard Petty funded our debate team to travel all across the United States to participate in debate tournaments. So we were able to travel to places like, um, you know, San Francisco, Chicago, pretty much any big city all over the United States, which was awesome because we got to see a lot of really cool faculties, a lot of really cool schools, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, a lot of high or bigger name schools. So we would have practice 2 to 3 times a week, basically come up with cases, practice those cases. And then once we felt confident enough that we were able to really implement them into a tournament, then we would decide, okay, 3 or 4 students will go here, 3 or 4 students will go there. So it was just a really nice weekend trip, and we got to see a lot of cool places, meet a lot of really, really nice people, and obviously participate in the debate tournaments.
Amazing. And how did this experience actually develop you as a person, and how did it like add to your I would say to your skills, especially as a realtor and as a one source director?
So with these debate tournaments, you don't necessarily know what type of cases you're going to come across. So I think it really helped with my improvisation skills. You're able to think really quickly on the spot, especially communication. So you need to thoroughly understand the topic that you're, I guess, debating. Come up with really knowledgeable points as to, I guess, depending on what side you're on, if you're for or against, obviously, the debate, and really execute those topics in a very stern professional way in order to, I guess, win the debate and move on in the tournament. So it helped with a lot of communication skills, a lot of fast thinking. It helped a lot with negotiation, and I think my social skills have improved a little bit more because um, uh, you're dealing with a lot of people. There's a lot of people at these tournaments. So yeah, it definitely helps in every aspect.
Fantastic. And what are some strategies which you implemented to improve your public speaking skills?
Um, from debate?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think the biggest one is being able to think quickly on your feet. So when you're in a negotiation conversation, especially from a sales perspective, you really need to understand who you're communicating with, maybe what their thoughts and what their needs are, and be able to um, redirect your point to maybe adhere to theirs, or to, I guess, figure out what they're looking for, what they want to be able to help them out or provide or offer whatever you have in order to, um, I guess, win over their sale or win over the argument or win over the debate. So it's a lot of understanding your audience and then taking that into consideration and going from there with your point.
amazing. So getting into your journey in real estate. So how were like your first couple of days as a realtor compared to where you are now in the profession?
Yeah, great question. So I knew going into real estate, I knew I wouldn't necessarily say very little, but I didn't really understand the depth of what it actually took to become a successful real estate agent. I did not want to be your stereotypical resales agent, someone who had a long list of clients, a long list of buyers, long list of sellers. So what I did was I actually I wanted to go into a more niche part of real estate. So instead of doing your basic resale of homes, what I did was I applied to a few development companies. I ended up working for Valente Development and got this really cool niche job where I did a lot of pre-construction and new development sales. So I was mainly acting on behalf of the seller, and obviously buyers who were interested in purchasing pre-construction. So a lot of investors, or even newer developments. I mainly specialize in condominium units and condominium buildings. But it was neat because I was representing mainly the seller. But then also, if clients came in without agents, I would also be representing them as the buyer as well. So it was a lot of, it was more so sales tactics from, I have this amazing product, I'm going to sell you this amazing product, instead of, okay, this is a new home coming up on the market. It's different every week. It was, this is the project I'm working on for 6, 7 months at a time. This is the product that we have to offer. Is this something that you're looking for? If not, I can help you out with maybe some of the other projects that we have. So, yeah, that was the route that I decided to take instead of just being your stereotypical buyer, seller, real estate agent for resale homes.
Amazing. And how was your experience like starting from a small city like Windsor, then moving to other bigger cities and like expanding in the value of like the I would say the estates that you are actually selling, like varying from a couple of hundred thousand, couple of yeah, $100,000 to multi-million dollar estates.
So our development projects that I mainly worked on were in uh was in um I guess a few very specific locations in Windsor. I never ended up actually venturing out of Windsor with real estate, mainly because my specific license, I don't have the ability to do that. So I've only really ever dealt with buying and selling in Windsor specifically. But our projects were fairly big projects. We would have 2 to 3 to 4 condominium buildings being constructed at a time, anywhere between 58 to 100 units per building. So it definitely is it's a large volume of units that we're dealing with at a time. But you just have to take it one step at a time, one client at a time, and really focus on, again, what their specific needs are and making sure that you can help them with that.
Amazing. And how did your career as a realtor help you get your job as a director at One Source?
So I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My mom owns this business, One Source Moving Solutions. My grandparents own a flooring business, Floor Coverings International. My father's a real estate agent. My aunt and uncle own a very successful interior design business. So I think I got to a point where I wanted to, I guess, pursue more of a leadership role. Although you can obviously be a very successful leader in real estate, I think I was looking more so for a little bit of a different business route. So I still do real estate part-time, but now doing full-time franchise development for One Source. I think eventually I want to be incorporated in the family business. So it's better to get a foot in the door now rather than later. So working with my mom right now has been a huge learning curve for me. Definitely a lot different than what you learn in business school. Actually, implementing all those skills that you've learned throughout the 4 years is um, uh, just, I guess, it's more of a reality to me now. But yeah, coming back to the family business, I eventually wanted to pursue that, but now it was a good time for me. I had to make some decisions earlier on this year whether I wanted to stay in Windsor or have the opportunity to relocate around the United States. So I took that opportunity. We are currently attempting to franchise or really get all of our documents in place in order to expand to the United States. So obviously I can't do that being a real estate agent. So working with my mom and her company, I was given the opportunity to have that freedom and flexibility to travel around the United States, really understand different markets. So then I can focus on my franchise development project in order to sell franchises in the States.
Fantastic. And what does a typical day look like for you?
Lots of meetings, lots of networking, lots of document preparation. Um, Typically what I do is I'll start out my days, meeting with people like you, networking. Middle of my day, I'm working on a lot of standard operating procedure documents, just pretty much building a sales pipeline to really execute a franchise sale. Working on franchise training, franchise development. So it's a lot of one-on-one coaching with our franchisees, a lot of understanding what their needs and how, as a franchisor, how we're able to support them, and pretty much building off of that. So whether I need to maybe focus a little bit more on the marketing area of One Source, or maybe focusing a little bit more on the training aspect of One Source. And then we are working with franchise coaches. So the end of my day typically looks like checking in with her, having maybe one-on-one meetings with her, or meeting with other franchisors and talking about common problems that businesses have, franchisors have, franchisees have, again, to really better understand and to improve our business day by day.
Amazing. And what are some future goals that you have for yourself? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years or even 10 years?
Um, that's always a tough question. I think for sure I still obviously want to be in the family business, but I'm really hoping within the next 5 years we are successful in selling a lot of franchises in the United States and expanding. We are currently considered an emerging franchise. We operate in 9 locations around Southern Ontario. We have 4 franchisees. So some of our franchisees operate in 2 different territories. So I think my long-term, well, short-term goal, I guess, if you look at the big picture, 5 years is kind of short-term, would be to um, really improve the structure of the business to have a very smooth sales process and to really expand. So we're hoping to have at least 50 franchises within the next 2 years across Canada. And then we have big goals to expand to the United States as well. So I think within the next 5 years, we want to grow. We want to grow a lot.
Amazing. Yeah, sounds like a solid plan.
Mhm.
So, reflecting on your journey so far, what are some, I would say, some advices that you would like to give to students?
For students specifically, I think that students should um feel that it's okay to fail sometimes. I once heard that you should follow the rule of thirds. You know, a third of the time you're going to feel great, a third of the time you're going to feel okay, and a third of the time you're going to feel like you have no clue what you're doing. And just as long as you get you feel every part of those thirds, then you're doing fine. It's okay to fail sometimes. It's okay to feel like, you're just doing okay. And it's obviously really good to feel great. So you don't necessarily need to feel like you're hitting the pavement every single day and you have the best day every day. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to have okay days. And obviously the good days are great. But just as long as you're hitting all three, then you're doing perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's such an inspiring advice. Thank you for that. And thank you so much for being a guest speaker on my channel.
Yeah, no problem, for sure.
Thank you.